am going to read this, so I don't say anything that I probably shouldn't say. So, I'm actually a doctor of physical therapy. I've been practicing for the last 8 years, treating conditions, a wide variety of conditions. And basically I've been influencing the respiratory system. The respiratory system has a major impact on the nervous system, how we move, quality of sleep, and behavior. So let's get straight to the point. Why I'm here tonight. Masking children is child abuse. You're all complicit. You will be judged. You'll be held accountable for that.
We can't hear you. Read the last sentence.
Masking is child abuse.
Yes.
And you're all complicit. You will be judged. You'll be held accountable for your actions.
That's right.
The people of this community will remember when it came down to it. To make the right decision, you chose to politicize this, and you held the children's education and their safety hostage for your own self-righteous behavior. However, there's still time to repent. Masking needs to be made optional, and quarantining healthy students without symptoms needs to stop. You are bleeding out this community. We cannot use a one-size-fits-all approach and need to look at the response of the person wearing the mask. We're all individuals. And our response will be used or based on our perceptions, right? Your perceptions create your reality. Our prior level function of breathing and our levels of stress. Placing a mask over the nose and over the mouth will result in increased air hunger and feelings of claustrophobia. Putting anything over the nose and mouth results in altered breathing, and that doing this all day will have serious and potential long-term physical and psychological harm. All masks increase the amount of dead space that extend beyond the nose and mouth. This leads to rebreathing air that has a higher concentration of carbon dioxide, resulting in a much higher breathing rate. And when breathing speeds up, the breathing muscles themselves have to work harder. Masks disrupt normal breathing and lead to an increase in breathing rate, but also heart rate, which will increase the stress response. Any change in breathing will be more pronounced in children, as they have a higher breathing rate and heart rate than adults, resulting in a tendency to turn into asthma, anxiety, panic disorders, and sleep disturbances. Not only are you rebreathing air and breathing faster, as you wear a mask, you will end up increasing the inhale time versus exhale time, especially those who wear glasses. This ultimately leads to short, shallow breathing, hyperventilation, and hyperinflation. Hyperventilation will result in exhaling more carbon dioxide into the mask. Hyperinflation is caused by leaving residual air stuck inside the lungs from incomplete exhaling. This continues the need for shallow breathing and excessive use of the neck muscles. This will lead to an increase in the fight or flight response. These breaths will more than likely come from the mouth, as the mask will cause too much resistance for nasal breathing for a large majority of people, but also increase the air hunger and will lead the person to take more volume through the mouth. This is especially true for kids since they have less respiratory capacity, and the masks they are using were designed for adults. They were just shrunk to size. Mouth breathing is a problem affecting up to 50% of kids. It has many side effects. Many physical and mental health conditions, loss of heat and moisture from the body, airway irritation, greater susceptibility to airway infection, poor quality of life, sleep disorder breathing, exercise-induced asthma, early mortality, bedwetting, night terrors, a greater burden on the heart and lower heart rate variability, bad breath, poor dental health, overbreathing and breathlessness, behavioral and learning problems in children, developmental issues, permanent facial deformities, poor speech development and auditory processing, poor diaphragm function, poor core support, greater risk of injury, poor body and brain oxygenation, crooked teeth, and chronic stress. Those are healthy children that this could turn into. So now imagine that that child already has these things going on before you require them to suffocate themselves. You have not evaluated any of these kids, nor are any of you actually equipped to do so. The only person here that may have that education is Dean, but I'm going to throw him under the bus now.
Please conclude your comments, please.
Excuse me?
Please conclude your comments. You've been well over 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
This is a man who uses orthodontic devices in his practice to promote airway health in kids, but yet he hasn't spoke up for them. How hypocritical can you be, Dean?
Tom,
Yeah, we want to hear him.
there's no personal attacks here, please.
Excuse me?
No personal attacks here.
That's not a personal attack at all. That's the truth. He promotes that in his practice, and he doesn't promote it up here. He needs to stand up for the children and bring his expertise to the table.
Thank you, Tom. Doctor.
Recently, Care 11, they reported 30% increase in children arriving at emergency rooms. Some of those as young as 5 and 6 years old. Even the governor has allocated millions of dollars to this. So why do you continue to do this? What's it going to take? Is it going to take a suicide in the community? Domestic abuse gone wrong? School violence? The only one that has any courage up here is Maureen. The rest of you are cowards.
My name is Matt Adeline. I'm a parent in the district, 2 students. I've never been held hostage, but I do pick my kids up at DMS school on a daily basis, which is about the same thing. So, drop off is fine. Parents have a 30-minute window to drop off. The line moves very quickly, but pickup, on the other hand, is a disaster. The previous 2 years, I could show up at 2:55, be out of the parking lot at 3:05, which was great. But now, if you want to pick up it, get out of the parking lot jail at 3:05, you have to be in line at 2:30. So we went from 10 minutes previous years to 30 to 40 minutes daily, an extra 2 hours a week. I understand it's likely meant for child safety, but were there documented accidents that occurred that required a change? If so, I'd like to hear it. Was the old way of picking up in front perfect? Absolutely not. But at least it minimized the time to pick up your kids. I've regularly contacted Principal Aker, and I've heard that changes are happening, but so far, no changes appear to be implemented or working. There's little communication with parents or the kids to continue improving the process. Parents are picking up at the apartment parking lot across the street, Henry's Foods, even stopping in the middle of McKay to have their kids jump in every day. Why follow the rules if they're not enforced? I'm gonna get my 2 hours back, and I'm gonna start doing the same thing until they're changed. Another topic, COVID. Schools, and only schools, have implemented these COVID protocols into your classes. Many schools across the country, even Minnesota, have gotten rid of most of the protocols unless a kid has symptoms or is sick. You alone as a school board can decide to get back to normal and get rid of the protocols put in place. Outside of healthcare facilities and schools, no organizations are using these design COVID protocols. We're not requiring them in school sports, local state businesses, private employers, non-school activities and social gatherings, and every night and every weekend. Stadiums are packed with 25 to 100,000 people. There is no contact tracing, there is no COVID protocols, nothing. And our kids are in doing all of that. So schools can't control what kids are doing outside of the school walls. They're getting together with friends, teammates, family, they're involved in other organizations. If you can't control the other 18 hours a day on the weekends, why are we trying to control the 6? It makes no sense.
Right.
Speaking of not making sense, close contact protocol.
Yep.
Why are you kicking healthy students out of school for 10 days? How is that helping a student's education? My kid has close contact on Monday. We got a call Friday.
Yep.
4.5 days later. And because of that close contact, he's got to be out 10 days.
Ridiculous.
How many kids was the positive person in touch with for 5 days? Are we really tracking that? That's ridiculous how much time that's taking. It sounds like it might be a personal opinion versus scientific contract chasing, which again, no one is doing anymore. There are students that have missed between 20 and 30 days of in-person learning,
Yep.
and we're halfway through the school year. You are hurting the students by having these protocols in place. Please consider changes to make even a little effort to keep healthy kids in person learning, which is really what all of us parents want.
Yep.
The same holds true as before COVID. If your kid is not feeling well, keep them home. If they're healthy, stay in school. It's time to reevaluate the need for some of the protocols and get back to some common sense approach to ensure as many kids are in-person learning every day.
Thanks for letting me speak. I want to thank you guys for microphone. Adjust it, so. How's that, better? Okay, I'll talk loud. I thank the school board for keeping our kids in school. My kids have not missed any days. Of course, I mask, they mask, even though they're vaccinated. So aside from that, I have significant, genuine concerns about our new school board member.
Where's the no personal
I sat
attacks?
there and listened. You can do the same for me.
We voted her in.
By 200, not a whole lot. As you ran for this seat, you referenced CRT incessantly.
We're supposed to.
What about no personal attacks?
I am stating a fact. She referenced it incessantly, constantly, consistently.
Prep said we couldn't have personal
When
attacks.
engaged in dialogue about this topic, you were not able to provide me with any examples of how this played out in our district. I asked you, you blocked me because you didn't want to engage in the conversation. And then you said that it's just
Are you really
hot.
allowing this, Prep?
This is attacking.
This is attacking. This is attacking.
I have-
Seriously?
You know what, if you guys are not gonna control the meeting, let me know.
This is attack.
Because
is
I can
attack.
record this at home and
No.
send it to all of you via email.
Shut down one person.
Address the whole board, but not one person.
I'm addressing the whole board, right?
No,
So here's my
You wouldn't be
concern.
using you
I am saying
if you were
that
addressing the whole board.
she insists that her greatest concern is children of color.
Who's she?
Ms. Eigen.
There you go.
It's gotta stop. Who's gonna stop?
You gotta stop.
Setting a precedent for next school board meeting.
I can't wait till the next school board meeting.
Yep.
Stop it.
Setting a precedent.
I am.
We can't hear you.
I am addressing them to all of you.
No.
Apparently, here's my situation.
I wish
don't know
3 minutes
where
was
the
up.
I don't know where the perception comes from that children would be, of color, would be viewing themselves as victims. But to say that, whoever might say it, it's condescending and it's insulting to families that look like mine, okay? My kids are not victims, we are not victims. We are people who are concerned about what is taught in school. Legitimate history is taught, and there are organizations like the Heritage Foundation and the Center of the American Experiment and other political groups that are bent on making this, making it a thing with their manufactured definition of CRT. I don't know if people understand that the relationship that I have, people like myself and my husband have, when we were children would not have been legal in more than 20 states in this country. In my lifetime, in many people's lifetime in this room. And up until June 12th of 1967, when the Supreme Court ruled in the case of Loving versus Virginia, there were still 17 states where interracial marriage was not allowed. Let's see here.
Glad things have gotten better.
So back in 1998, Well, Alabama still, up until the year 2000, Alabama still had in their state constitution an unenforceable ban on interracial marriage. 2000, okay?
We're not Alabama.
We're 2021.
You wouldn't know it by what my kids hear in school.
We do not support that.
So, ultimately, you know, they resisted it. As recently as 1998, state house leaders in that state, they killed attempts to remove it from the Constitution. Finally, voters said in 2000, enough, and voted it down. So I feel that anyone on the board without significant education or experience on matters pertaining to children of color, including my own children, I respectfully request that they not be placed on any committee that works specifically on curriculum.
Too late.
And community representation for children and families of color are immediately placed on any such committee.
Time's up.